Why peer-to-peer learning? We say peer-to-peer learning is a process through which individuals exchange knowledge and experience with each other, and then they diffuse this learning back to their organizations, in this case, the counties. So the idea is when the individuals learn, when the individuals are convinced, when the individuals themselves are reformed, then they actually reform the institutions that they come from. So, and in this case, the county governments. And so we say peer-to-peer learning is a powerful tool, and it's a tool for championing reforms. Because once people are convinced and jointly convinced, the day we say, yes, we will do this together, it's more powerful than when everyone is doing the thing individually. So we should be able to share knowledge, but also skills. So when we sit together in that common space, we are not just exchanging words, but we're also saying this is how we went about it. So it goes beyond just saying, but also even instructing. How do we coach each other? How do we mentor each other?
I must say we have really learned and grown ever since we started these forums with Madam Ross. We identified the gaps for our county. We identified the gaps. We saw when we came here with our CEC, that shows where we are placing revenue after learning where our weaknesses are. Immediately we left here, we went and put our house in order. We sat down. She burnt the midnight oil to prepare the targets for our revenue department. We discussed, she refined, until now I'm happy to report that she has signed her contract. She has also signed with her team, and we are signing now with the CEC, and then CEC with the governor. We are progressing. And that came because we were given the thrust, the push, because we realized that we were getting just things going around in circles, and we were really not getting anywhere. But we learned and we put it into practice. And even right now, as we sit here, we are getting the feedback. People are telling us how they are faring on, and also reporting challenges, and we are able to sort. So that gave us a swift focus, and also the paradigm shifting of making sure that people know where revenue should be placed in the structure, and also the allocation of resources to ensure even as we get the limited resources, we share. We share and give priority to the revenue directorate. That was very, very important. We have also learned from the other sister counties here. We were able to learn from Makueni about the public participation. We were able to learn from Laikipia about the supervision. So it has really taught us to focus, and every day to focus. We are discussing with her even past midnight, texting and making sure things are happening well in the revenue directorate. Because as the other speakers have told us, this is the lifeline, this is the nerve, the most important function in the counties. Because if we do not have the revenues, we will not deliver in even the big four and in anything that we promised the electorate and our people.
When we think of the law, the fundamental law that that should govern our revenue administration, the assumption has been that it is a finance act. I don't know whether that applies to other counties. So it may appear a small thing, but it's fundamental because now it has helped us to push for the Revenue Administration Act to be reviewed, and it's one of the items that we've included in our performance contract for the finance department. Then we have also appreciated that that we have ready and willing partners to support us. I through this program, I am amazed by how easily it is to get, for instance, the national government support in evaluating performance contracts. I think they can attest that we've initiated some consultations so that when we sign the performance contracts with our CCs, we should be able to get them on board to help us evaluate. So it's just amazing how sometimes you have a helping hand just next door and you don't realize. So that has been very important to us. And then I just want to mention, I mentioned about timing. The automation challenges, I just want to echo, yes, it's a big thing, but bottom line, we've accepted that it is not, it is not the only thing to sorting out our solution. I've just shared the experience we have also in automating performance. We were very glad to hear the lessons of Makueni. There was some discussion around sand harvesting. I think when we had some, the balance between our revenue raising ambitions and environmental protection and SDGs. That remains relevant. We have quite a bit of abandoned quarries within the county. So even if we are not sand harvesting, and perhaps we may not maybe have such a big challenge in terms of forest coverage, we have our unique environmental challenges, including dam sites and others. So even as we increase our aggression in raising revenue, some of those experiences were very good, and especially how they've handled that. I have also had conversations with people from Kwale and others with regards to how they have managed to do their performance contracting. And it's amazing that also you learn lessons that signing is one thing and, and entrenching performance is another. So I think the overall experience has been very lovely. We were amazed by the, the appreciation of life forms, and one of our take-home messages was maybe sometimes before you condemn, a system, because you can see the people who have been, especially people who are in local government and all that, had gone through very serious capacity building, really embrace it. So it means that all our capacity building initiatives are not at a loss. And lastly, I just want to mention about what I would call the methodology in performance contracting. When we contracted out, the contractor that we had basically brought in the balanced scorecard approach. So we started implementing balanced scorecard system, and then the system was actually electronic system. Only later on to realize that the performance contracting, the national government led performance contracting system had actually considered all these aspects when it was developed. So it was also a lesson to us, even as you try to change, invest time to understand what is already there. So that has been very good. What I would want to perhaps encourage Rose, now that we are hopeful that this program will continue, is maybe to help us think through the platforms that we are going to use to exchange knowledge, bearing in mind the challenges that my colleague was talking about. Sometimes, maybe WhatsApp platforms and and emails and all that are becoming monotonous. Maybe to think of systems that would probably be more interactive, and perhaps that would maybe bring people together, from wherever they are at a particular time, maybe facilitated. Yeah, all that might be very important. So just the power of, having people with you, emphasizing that. So I'm glad, and I think energized, and we feel that our continuity in this program is not in vain. Thank you.
As concerned with the performance contract, how do you do revenue without a performance contract? Surely. I just want to confess one thing about performance contracting. When we started it, I think on a serious note, when I was a treasurer in Nyahururu, we became number 4 in Actually, we became number 1 in Rift Valley, and then we became number 4 overall in Kenya, simply because we were embracing performance contracting. Then, when we became a county government now, when I was made the director of revenue in Laikipia, 2014, those you can remember, we became number 1 in Kenya. So see how what we are doing here can take you far. I believe as we are seated here and as we are sharing, it will take us very far.
So you can go to